Minnesota Vikings draft party at US Bank Stadium on April 23rd. Catch all the first-round action with us all night long, plus meet and greets with current players and legends, and your shot at tons of prizes. Tickets at Vikings.com/draft party.
Goal 13-14 passed on Common. He's 10 to B. Lil B here from In Touch with the program. Micheletti and Falness as well for program password. Said to me, a couple of people have inquired as why there was no montage today for the Wild and the Wolves starting the playoffs. You want to answer to that, to the people that were waiting anxiously for your award-winning montages?
I will address it. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
Wow. How can you
start tomorrow?
Because it's the Cup.
Because it's not. Yeah, it wasn't tonight, so I didn't have it on my mind.
Yeah. Right.
So I apologize.
I'm going to call your parents. Watch what they do now.
Yeah, they do. They call the parents.
You need the reflection room.
You need to reflect.
All right, I'll go right now.
You need to go reflect.
No, stick around. That's okay. We'll forget.
Take him to the boiler room.
Yeah, right. What do we got, Tenby? Where are we at? It sounds like Micheletti and I have our work cut out for us. Just that 2-goal lead right now.
Yes, somehow you and Pat Micheletti are down 45-29 to Lil B and Kevin Falness.
God.
Second half of program password, you can watch it at KFAN.com/watch. Thanks to Nick Madden and Zach Halverson always helps out as well for their work. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Let's play.
To get to the second half. Common and Falness. Take a look at that iPad. The password is word.
Nothing yet. Nothing yet.
Hit the refresh, Falness. Just maybe that.
Unless halftime is the password.
It is not.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Nico.
Okay. Common, you're down 16 points. You have the option here. Would you like to go first or second?
Go first.
All right. Common and Micheletti for 10.
Pass.
Deliver.
Falness and Lil B for 9.
Scrabble.
Guess.
Common and Micheletti for 8.
Game.
Board.
That's what I would have said.
Falness and Lil B for 7.
Letters.
Word. Password. Sometimes it takes me a second, but then I get there.
Thinking that, and I'm like,
Well, that's what I was worried about when Common said he couldn't see it on the iPad. It could have said word. I just thought maybe he just said, I'm waiting for the word to
we're
pop
getting
up.
smoked.
This looks like a wild Dallas Stars series right now. It's 52-29. Lil B and Falness with the lead. Micheletti and Lil B. Pat, I know you won't give up.
10 wrote a segment's worth of material on Diego Pavia over creating a montage for a double playoff Saturday.
Yeah, that's about right.
Anyway, sorry.
No, I forgot about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Pat and Lil B, take a look at the iPad, please. The password is tone. All right, Pat, you need to make a run here. You're down 23 points.
Boy, do we ever.
You have the option. Would you like to go first or
We
second?
need more than a run. We need a mad dash. Is what
Oh,
we
you're
need.
still in this.
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
I'll pass.
A couple layups and you get right back into it. Lil B, you and Falness for 10.
Melody.
Song.
Micheletti and Common for 9.
Environment.
Lil B and Falness for 8.
Ring.
Tone.
So I knew when you said ring, it was tone. I was hoping you'd miss it.
All right.
Now I
Game is fun.
Darn it.
Lil B and Falness 20 points away from a dub. You are up 60-29 over Common and Micheletti. Common and Falness, take a look at the iPad. The password is cut.
Here's the situation. To get to 2:15, we either have to go on a roll or all of us have to talk really slow.
Okay.
Can you show me that again? I just want to make sure I saw it right. All right, thank you. Yeah.
Good savvy move there to kill more time, to get more time to think about it.
You guys can just talk hockey after. It'll be fine.
I was too busy trying to think of a funny line that nobody apparently appreciated, that I wasn't really concentrating on the words.
Common, you're down 31 points. Biggest deficit of this game thus far. You have the option. You want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right. Common and
boy.
Micheletti for 10.
Chop.
Liver.
That's what we are in this game. That's for sure.
Falness and Lil B for 9.
Scissors.
Cut.
Why didn't I say scissors?
I don't know.
I was going to say slice, and then I thought he would say
I didn't have
Tennessee.
a bad answer.
You like that, Tennessee?
Chop liver.
Liver.
See, did you get that? Like I said, I thought if I said slice, he'd say Tennessee. It's great humor.
Okay.
Lil B and Falness, 11 points away from a win. Zach Halverson, go ahead and tweet it out. You guys are up 69-29.
We aren't mad at you, Tanner. We're just disappointed.
Oh,
No, I'm disappointed in myself.
burn.
So I'm harder on myself than you guys are.
That's not possible. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Hey-oh!
You guys, okay.
We're in
I'm
big
disappointed
trouble.
in your performance in program password right now.
Trust me, you ain't the only
Down
one.
40 points. Falness has never been in this spot before. Micheletti and Lil B option is, you take a look at the iPad.
Did they just need one 10-pointer?
No, they need 11. So the password is loop. All right, Pat, down 40. You just need 4 layup 10-pointers in a row, and you're right back in this thing. Options on you. You want to go first or second?
God, that looks just screams confidence. You look like you're ready to go. Yes. I'll let you go.
All right, Lil B and Falness for 10.
Ribbon.
Cutting.
Micheletti and Common for 9.
Bow.
Award. Why did I say award?
I don't know.
Lil B and Falness for 8.
Wrap.
Present.
Answer so quickly.
I thought I knew
Micheletti
it.
and Common for 7.
I've forgotten all the clues already.
Me too.
5 seconds.
Spin.
Wheel of topic.
Lil B and Falness for 6.
Circle.
Nope.
Micheletti and Common for 5.
I'm going to go back to ribbon.
Ceremony. Ribbon cutting ceremony.
All right, last one. Lil B and Falness for 4.
Shoes.
Tie.
It's very hard.
That was a hard word.
Loop.
Loop.
I would have said
Okay.
north. Would you have said loop? You don't think
I
about
don't
the
think
north
I would.
loop?
No, I know of it. I don't know that I would have guessed that.
Yeah, that was a really
Fruit.
that was a hard one.
Fruit. Toucan.
Still 69-29. Lil B and Falness
Threw me
with the
for a
lead.
loop, I know that.
Common and Falness. Take a look at the iPad.
I get a bloody nose, I think, now, too.
Okay,
The pass.
we're oversharing.
All right, look at the iPad there, Common, please.
Oh, sorry.
The password is Phil.
There's nothing there. Oh, there. Okay, now it came up.
Common still down 40 points. You have the option. What do you want to do here? First or second?
I'm going to go second.
All right.
Oh, you got it? Gosh darn it.
Falness and Lil B for 10.
Nicholson.
Common and Pat for 9.
Esposito.
Phil.
Dang it. I thought that was a layup. I'm
when you
sorry.
said that, I was just, how did I not think
I
of
just
that?
haven't thought about Phil Mickelson in a really long time.
Dang it.
Sorry, I couldn't pull that one.
No, that's all
I
right.
noticed I went with the hockey guy. So I was going to go Phil Negro,
back.
but
No,
then I
it
didn't.
would've been- give me those.
Yeah, I know it would have been.
Those are mine.
Pat knows all the sports.
No, I know, but I was just kind of
Yeah, yeah.
proud of myself that I shifted it to hockey. that I thought of. I was trying to think of a hockey player with the first name of Phil, and that's the only one I could think of.
Good.
Thank you.
And it's spelled Fill, so you guys both cracked the code on it. Good job. Maybe that's the changing moment for Common and Micheletti.
Probably not.
It is now 69 to
Funny,
38.
You should do comedy with this.
Micheletti and Lil B option. Or you guys take a look at the iPad, please. The password is study. All right, Pat. Down 31 points. Options on you. Would you like to go first or second?
First.
All right, to gain a little momentum here, Micheletti and Common for 10.
Cram.
Study.
Damn it.
All right, here we go.
That was a good clue.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a 21-point game, 69 to 48. Lil B and Falness with the lead. Common and Falness. Take a look at the iPad. The password is show. Can you guys see it over there yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I said the wrong word. Hold on.
Okay, hang on.
I said the wrong word that showed up. So let me for the you keep that word.
Okay.
For the listeners, I'm going to tell them.
Okay.
The password is foot. My bad. Where are we at here? Common, down 21 points. You have the option. You want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right, Common and Micheletti for 10.
Inch.
Crawl.
Falness and Lil B for 9.
Shoe.
Foot.
Yes.
I knew I shouldn't have
I almost
said
didn't
inch.
have it.
I thought maybe inch should go with it. It was just terrible. Sorry, I'm really bad at this game. I don't even know why I bother playing.
Stop.
That was just terrible.
No, it was good.
All right, here's where we're at. Lil B and Falness, you are at 78 points, so any correct answer, you win.
Okay.
Common and Micheletti, you are at 48. You need 32 points. You got to do 32 consecutive
You gotta do
unanswered
stuff.
right here.
No doubt.
Micheletti and Lil B, take a
And
look
you know,
at
we've
the
really shown signs of being able to pull that off.
Lil B and Micheletti, take a look at the iPad. The password is show. All right, Patrick, down 30 points. Going to have the option the rest of the way here.
Isn't that funny?
You have the option, Pat. You want to go first or second?
Let me think about it a second, will you?
5 seconds.
I'm the host.
Okay.
I'll take care of that. 5 seconds.
Yeah, let him put us out of our misery.
Yeah.
All right, Lil B and Falness for 10 and the win.
Television.
Set.
Micheletti and Common for 9.
Concert.
Show.
Yes.
Dang it.
Set.
It's not over. 78 to 57. Falness.
Set game match, my boy. Set game match. Here we come.
78-57. Lil B and Falness with the lead. Common and Falness. Take a look at the iPad. The password is stay. All right, Common. Down 21. You can make this thing interesting here. You have the option. You want to go first or second?
Go first.
All right, Common and Micheletti for 10.
Leave.
Depart.
Falness and Lil B for 9 and the win.
Stay.
You just said the word.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, I meant sit. Dang it. Gosh,
You did?
oh, I meant sit. Sit. Stay. Oh, man. Oh. Here, I had some flowers, though. God dang it. Oh, that's awful.
I had the word.
I know. Well, I meant sit.
All you have to do is just say opposite.
Shoot.
You Gary Anderson did.
I did. Oh, man.
All of a sudden,
Wow.
It's 78-66. Common
My God.
Micheletti.
It's my reputation. It's starting to get the best of me.
From a win.
I was hoping you'd go with the inflection I did.
Micheletti and Lil B, take a look at the iPad, please.
What's the score?
It's 78-66.
My God.
I meant sit.
Micheletti and Lil B, take a look at the iPad. The password is debate.
Somebody says, he's back.
We call that an own goal in the business. Micheletti, you can make this thing interesting. You can make it a one-possession game. You have the option. You want to go first or second?
We will go first. It's confidence.
All right. Micheletti and Common for 10.
Argue.
Fight.
Lil B and Falness for 9 and the win.
Political?
Debate.
They win.
I should have thought of it longer. That's my fault. I should have known that it was debate.
And just like that, we're perfect on time.
Yeah, we are. Because that is the issue. Is sometimes you just want to blurt it out. I should have given it some time. Got a little time to breathe. Because it wouldn't have been fight. Yeah. If you would have said fight, you would have said hockey.
But I lost it for us with the 2 words.
No, don't worry about it.
2 wins in a row for Kevin Falness.
2 in a row.
Yeah.
See? Finally got a win. Thank
Longest
you.
winning streak in his history.
Thank you, Kevin Falness, for
Thank
the win.
you. Enjoy your flowers.
Not the Washington.
Beautiful.
Think about this. Even the Washington Generals didn't win 2 in a row. So.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, thanks for the allergy medication too. By the way,
You're welcome.
Appreciate it so much. You guys are going to hang though, right?
Sure.
Talk
Yeah,
about
sure.
hockey.
Happy
Love
to.
it.
Why not?
Oh, God, I got to go.
So Micheletti and Paul is talking
Great
a little
to see ya.
hockey next. Lil B, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Short break. Come back with more after this here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
The Wolves are taking on the Nuggets in round 1 of the NBA playoffs. And if you're not in the building, you're missing out. Get your tickets to Game 3 on Thursday, April 23rd and beyond at timberwolves.com/playoffs.
Common here with Tennessee. Falness and Micheletti have graciously agreed to hang around, talk a little wild hockey, and wouldn't you know it, right away we got some breaking news. Meat Sauce, Common Man, and Larry Mondello Guy will be performing at the New Hope Cinema Grill tomorrow night.
Oh.
Hope to see you there. Tickets are very
Cancel
inexpensive.
fan line.
Yes, cancel fan line. Very inexpensive. We'll be at the New Hope Cinema Grill. And tickets are available right now at Cinema.
Can you get me a discount on tickets?
Oh, sure. I put you on the list.
Oh.
I can get you in. Cinemagrill.com. Cinemagrill.com. Then we have another piece of breaking news, not as important. But apparently the Minnesota Wild have now publicly announced who will be between the pipes on Saturday after late Saturday afternoon. And tend to be my sources tell me it might be Flower coming back. Is that the case?
Manny Fernandez.
No, but maybe a bit of a surprise. They are going with the rookie Jesper Wallstedt to start in the net in Game 1.
What do we call him, Kevin?
The Great Wall of St. Paul?
No.
You pronounce it really
great
strange on Beyond
Vol.
the Pond.
The great Vol.
You like to emphasize the Vol.
Yeah, how do you pronounce his name?
Jesper Wallstedt.
Vol?
Volstead, yes.
So he would be the great Vol.
Ball from St. Paul.
Brandon and Common. Patrick's been ahead of the curve on this. On Beyond the Pond, he's been calling for Volstead to start Game 1 for literally 3 weeks, and I'm not making that up.
6.
So for 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Well, I lost count. But he has been calling for Volstead to get the
yesterday.
start.
Well, when Tennessee and I were talking about it, I said, I'm assuming the assumption everybody thinks it's going to be Wallstead, and Tennessee said, well, no, everybody thinks it's going to be Gus. And I said, my comeback to that was, if you went up to anybody, and just said, hey, who do you think should start? Well, Wallstead, of course.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant, was just that to me, it just seemed obvious. That's the guy. I know they're both really good, but they've been swapping back and forth. They both have good seasons, but one guy's been on a roll as of late. The other guy hasn't. And so I kind of go with the guy that's got the hot hand. You both, obviously, you think it should be Volstead. Yeah. Do you agree that it should be Volstead?
Well, I think it was the right choice, but I really thought they'd start with Philip Gustafson for a lot of the same things that Brandon said earlier in the program and earlier on KFAN Wild Weekly. I just thought that, he was the incumbent starter. I thought Philip Gustafson had earned the right to start that for his body of work over the course of the entire season. But as they came down the stretch and the season became March into April, Gustafson didn't look that normal, confident self that you're used to seeing. seen with Philip Gustafson. And Jesper Wallstedt
And
does.
Wallstedt did.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
he
that game
has.
against Anaheim, you could just tell he was feeling it.
I honestly don't think you could make a wrong decision in who you decided to go with. My only worry is that taking that away from Philip Gustafson, now do you lose him? Because at some point you're probably going to have to go to him.
I always say though, like when that argument gets brought up, if he is that fragile mentally,
but they're a
that
goaltender.
we lose him by going with someone else, then he ain't going to be the guy who's going to get you through 16 wins in the Stanley Cup playoffs anyway.
You're probably right, but unfortunately, that's how goaltenders are made up. Exhibit A.
Well, they're not all
best
made up.
boot hockey
They're not all
goaltenders
made up
ever.
like that.
I am of the volition. I didn't like the comments that he made that it was a throwaway game or whatever the comments were. That did not suit well with me at all because he should be preparing for game one. And if it was just like, it's just another game, whatever, that doesn't give me much confidence. Secondly, I have this feeling of looking at a goaltender, and Common, you know this from being that street hockey goaltender that you
Boot
are.
hockey.
Yeah, boot hockey.
Boot hockey.
Really good boot
I'm
hockey.
sorry.
That's all right. Same thing.
I mean, I like to see a guy that, show some, kind of like the Flower, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Wallstedt's got a little bit of that in him where the guys say, you know what? Let's make sure that we protect this guy. And you want to play in front of a goaltender. And he brings that out to me more. And I think you need that.
Are you talking about like
into
an
play.
attitude?
I am.
Maybe?
I am.
Attitude?
100%.
I think a goaltender has to be, I don't know if cocky's the right word.
Yes.
I mean, he's got to be like, bring it. Whatever you got to do.
I agree with that.
And that confidence permeates to the team.
Yes.
Right? So that was my one fear going into the series. Like, I like the Wild's chances in this series. I would actually predict them to win. I think they'll win in 6. But my fear was you get the gust that you've had the last couple games.
Yeah.
And then, when the team doesn't have confidence in their goaltending, then they play differently. They play with a different swagger, different style, different vibe. And that was my concern about this thing derailing in this series because you don't like the way your goaltending's going.
Yeah, and the
goaltending put you in a hole.
Yeah, and 2 games that stood out to me, and I'll go back to the Four Nations where, all of a sudden it's the third period, and where's your guy for Sweden?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go. And then how many times it happened here with the Wild?
Happened a couple of times
Well,
in the
let's
Olympics.
go back to the last game of the season last year when they needed to win to get in, and Flower had to come in the third period, and then overtime and the shootout, right?
Yeah.
And so
Well, he had one this year where he didn't even explain to anyone why he was leaving.
Yeah, he just left against Chicago,
bizarre.
right? Against Chicago.
Yeah.
And so that's worrisome a
I
little
agree.
bit.
That's to me the part that worries me the most about Philip Gustafson is that resume. But this was his opportunity to plant his flag at center ice and say, you know what, that was then. This is now. This is the new and improved me. And what he did over the course of the season, he put up some great numbers. The problem is, the more the season went along, the worse he got. And Wallstedt was great for the most part coming out of the Olympic break.
Well, and that's the part I want to bring up is this isn't just hey, Gustafson's awful, we can't play him. The Gustafson's had a solid season, but he's not going well right now. And Wallstedt has been great down the stretch. He's been great.
Yes, and
I think he has a higher ceiling than Gus.
Well,
for sure.
We had talked before too. The biggest concern going into the playoffs, and is the goaltending. Is the goaltending matchup, and so that's really one area that I think it was like with Bill Guerin saying, yeah, we got 2 goaltenders who played really, really well this year, but they're not playoff really tested. And when you win championships with your goaltenders, I mean, bottom line,
for sure
you win. I mean, Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky, the list goes on, right? And so that's kind of a concern going into this playoff.
And odds are Ottinger will win a game for Dallas in this series.
Yes.
Like your goalie can't just, they got to win a game for you every once in a while when you're not playing great, when you're getting outplayed.
Yeah, his numbers are unbelievable against the Wild. Regular season, preseason, postseason. He
gets fired up to play these guys.
In a series that is really not a lot separating it. That's the one thing that you can definitely point in favor of the Stars. They have Ottinger. They have that backbone. The Wild right now have 2 question marks. They 2 unproven commodities when you talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. So this is the opportunity for Wallstedt to prove it.
Yeah, and could you have not 2 evenly matched teams?
And
when you look at the lineups, and some say Dallas has a little bit more depth, and I don't buy that.
I don't either.
I think they did prior to the trade deadline, but I don't now.
When you lose a Rupe Hintz, that takes a hit to your depth.
That really does. And Minnesota has to take advantage of that. I mean, he'll be back at some point in the series, and looks like Heiskanen, you said, Brandon.
He's practicing today. Yeah. It sounds like he's going to go.
And so...
Don't know if he's 100%.
Right.
But he's going to go.
Yeah, is Quinn Hughes 100% tomorrow afternoon? That'll be, we don't know what he has or if they're just resting him. Or...
They say they expect him to play in game 1. So hopefully that proves to be the case, because that is
just resting him,
Well,
he's been resting a long time. Yeah. He missed the last 2 games.
Hopefully he hasn't lost like 6 pounds.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Can't afford to do that.
But the Heiskanen, because when he got hurt, when Ryan Hartman kind of bumped him into the boards in Dallas, they made it seem like that might be an injury that he might not be there for game 1, or even if he is playing, he might be healthy. And obviously they have depth on the blue line, Pat, but that's a hard one to replace right there if he were not his full self.
Especially for the power play, and how important are the specialty teams going to be in this series? Massive. And you've got to be able to score on your power play, and you better keep the other team from scoring on their power play. So it's going to be critical.
I think most fans realize how good Heiskanen is, but just to put him into a comparison, Heiskanen is to the Stars what Hughes is to the Wild, what Makar is to the Avalanche. He's that good. And to take him out of the lineup, or if he's coming in at less than stellar speed, that's another thing the Wild have going in their favor, outside of this question mark around whatever flu bug or whatever it is that Quinn Hughes is dealing with. They're relatively 100%, and we haven't been able to say that for a long time going into the postseason.
So now that we've settled the goalie debate on who will start, here's the next question, which I think is more important. Should meat sauce feature in common headline?
I was going to ask that question.
Common feature and meat sauce headline. What do you guys think?
How's meat sauce's voice?
Well, that's the other thing. It's an upper body injury.
Is he going to play hurt?
Well, it's throat, so it's upper body, of course.
Well, where do you feel more comfortable? You're the star.
For a while I wasn't. He was the guy that closed all the time, but then he got to the point where one time he got booed off stage and hasn't gone as well. But he's back. I think what we'll do is we'll have Larry Mandela guy will MC and open tomorrow night, and then it will be meat sauce, and then I'll close.
Hey, can we get through fan line fast so we can get over there, Kevin?
Why don't you do it live from the New Hope Cinema Grill?
Why don't you bring the entire crowd down to the Wild offices and do it down there?
Because there's not a crowd there.
Yeah, I was going to say the crowd is
too many people
to use. Now, let me ask you this:
is it close to a sellout now?
You want to open with 5 minutes? That'll bring the house down right there. Yeah. It's really good. 4:30 start, right?
Yeah. 4:30. It's a 4:15 pregame right here on the Fan, and the puck will drop about, I think I saw 4:48 to be exact. So a little bit of a pregame walk-up, and then of course if you want to get going early, 10 to noon tomorrow, Micheletti and myself will be on the pond.
A lot of you guys tomorrow.
Mike Madano.
If we could go to like 3 or 4 overtimes, we could just do a watch party at the Cinema Grill. Maybe that would attract more people.
There you go.
Are you guys going to stick around, or do you got to go?
I got nowhere to be. So.
Oh, well then guess what? More Wild hockey talk on the other side of the break.
Yay.
Oh, by the way, the Wolves do play, and they take on Denver tomorrow. That's 12:30. That's the lid lifter. And then
it's 2:30, I think.
2:30, that's right. I'm sorry, 2:30. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Here, Common. KFAN welcomes some great shows to Mystic Lake Amphitheater. The legendary Bob Dylan.
Hot-blooded, check it and see. I got a fever of 103.
He'll be there July 6th. Motley Crue.
Let's get physical. I want to get physical. Let's get into physical.
Motley Crue there on August 21st, and Santana. And the Doobie Brothers.
Oh, sorry. Hanging around, nothing to do but frown. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
And the Doobie Brothers.
I'm on top of the world and looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find.
They'll be there August 27th. Get the complete details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
I received a text message from the program director. He says, hey, if you have time between all these comedy show plugs, could you please mention the Wolves tomorrow will be heard on the Minnesota Timberwolves channel on iHeartRadio and Twin Cities News Talk AM 1130 and FM 103.5. So I did, but don't forget.
Did you say comedy show plugs? What's that?
Oh, yeah. No, comedy tomorrow night, New Hope Cinema Grill. Larry Mondello guy, a.k.a. Tim Flanagan, Common, and Meat Sauce will be there. Tickets available at cinemagrill.com, and I can tell you they're cheaper than hockey and basketball tickets, and rightly so. Let me just say rightly so. Okay, I wanted to ask both of you, because this has nothing to do with the upcoming series, really sort of kind of does. Do you like the way they do the playoffs where they're trying to build rivalries and we have Dallas again? Instead of, back in the olden days, like in the NBA, they go 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7. Do you guys like this, though, to build rivalries, or do you think this is the wrong way to do it?
It's the wrong way.
Hate it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think everyone will tell you that.
I go back to 1980 when they had it 1 through 16.
And LaPanta.
Oh, did they really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was very good. I really enjoyed it.
I don't know that I want to go 1 through 16,
Why
but
not?
I like the different conferences 1 through 8. That's the way it should be. I mean, that's who is it that LA? Is it Anaheim and Edmonton?
Who would the Wild play?
I'd have to look at the standings.
Mammoth?
1, 2, 3.
The Woolies. I call them the Woolies.
Well, I do know that right now in the Eastern Conference, the 7th and 8th best records in the East are playing each other in the first round. That would be Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Oh.
And then in the West, you have the 6th and 7th playing each other. That would be Anaheim and, must be 5th and 6th maybe? Anaheim and Edmonton.
Now, do you think do you think they would say, see, Philly versus Pittsburgh, Battle of Pennsylvania? Do you think they look at that and say, hey, I think that's a rivalry already just because it's.
But the Wild have the third best record in the Western Conference, and they're going up against Dallas, whereas the Oilers and the Ducks, who basically, poop their pants through the end of the regular season to where they sit in the standings, and that's their first round matchup. It's probably a bye for the Edmonton Oilers, and if it's not, fire everybody.
Yeah.
Well, right? I mean,
if they can't take rid of
Ducks are really
take
good.
care of Anaheim in 5 games.
So they get a bye to the first round, whereas the
We
Wild
don't want to play the Ducks, obviously.
I would love to play the Ducks.
You won't get
You'd
an
love
argument.
to play the Ducks?
Sure. Oh, gosh, yes. Did anyone here?
Lost to them the other night.
No, they beat them the other night. They
3-2.
beat them with their JV team.
That's right.
Did you not remember the
Stay out
ball
of
of St. Paul in that
That's
game?
right. The
Yeah,
ball.
they stopped the three-game slide to that one.
Well, when they first came up with the idea of this playoff format, I'm like, I don't know about the wild card thing. That was kind of weird, but I like the idea of trying to recreate rivalries. It's what I remember, growing up watching the North Stars, and they'd play the same teams. But now that we've gotten to this point, like you're gonna create rivalries once you get in the playoffs, regardless of who you play.
Yes.
No need to try to manufacture.
You don't have to force feed it.
Yep. I could not agree more. The only person more stubborn than my wife on this planet Earth is Gary Bettman, and I think he's dead set. He's got his heels dug in. He's not going to change his mind.
Do you like Gary Bettman?
Well, I like my wife, if this is where you're going. I do.
No,
you know
I'm
what?
just asking.
This is what I'll say about Gary Bettman.
Look at what he's done for the league.
You can't say enough good things about Gary Bettman, except for this one little thing. He's done a ton of things for the National Hockey League
except for Atlanta.
and hockey, and Atlanta did it to them themselves. But I will say that this is the one thing that
Phoenix
should be fixed. Yep.
Didn't go well in Phoenix, did it?
Nope. That was another one where he was stubborn.
Yeah.
Much like he is with the playoff format that nobody likes other than him and LaPanta. I rest my case.
Why does LaPanta like it?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
To be what do you call yourself?
Dare to be a Daniel.
He's
dare to
daring to be a
stand
Daniel. Exactly. He's taking the esoteric approach.
the esoteric approach.
Yeah,
I assume.
and it's not going to change. I mean, it's going to be this way.
Not as long as Bettman's
there. And next year at the same time, we'll be saying Minnesota versus Colorado, or
Probably. Yeah.
right. I mean,
I don't see it
if you
changing.
look at if you look at the teams and what they have and their youth, and
Well, there's teams coming though. I mean, that San Jose Sharks team didn't make the playoffs this
But
year.
I'm
They're going to be
talking our
pushing.
division.
In our division, but yeah, you're right.
I mean, you're talking 3 really good teams.
Mammoth might be knocking on the door here soon.
I like the
Very
Mammoth.
soon. Yeah. Young team.
Chicago might figure it out one of these years.
Oof, man.
A lot of young talent. Too young, though.
Yeah.
Right now.
St. Louis going in the wrong direction.
All right, here's the questions that I'm always interested in.
Yes.
So let's say the series happens in the Wild lose. Let's say it's like 4-2. And it's Dallas sort of, maybe not dominates, but looks much better. What are they thinking over there at the slot machine then? I mean, Guerin and Hines, none of those guys are in any trouble.
I guess it all depends how he plays. If he plays a good game, keeps them in the game, but they lose, you stick with them. I'm talking about if the team
they
gets
lose
beat,
the series in 6 games.
Lose the series.
Yeah, they lose the series like in 6 games or 5. It's just like you leave the game going, boy, Dallas was the better team.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because if you hear Guerin talk, or I shouldn't necessarily say Guerin, but the scribes, the Russos, and those
bloggers,
the know-it-alls,
the bloggers. They're talking. Oh, Minnesota can make this big splash this summer.
Yep.
They already made one.
They sure did.
And they didn't make one at the deadline. So are they thinking? You know what? This summer we're really going to put our team together. I don't know, and so that kind of looks to me like they're giving themselves an out.
It's a big series because, one, ultimately, I don't know if any of us know what Quinn Hughes is feeling, right? He got traded here. I'd like to think at the minimum he's going to sign a 3-year bridge deal and maybe match his contract up with Jack Hughes. But, you're going to you want to extend him. It's a pretty big extension coming this summer. And to your point, if you want to bring in a Austin Matthews type or something, or a Brady Tkachuk in the summer, sure would help if you made a little bit of a playoff run and go, hey, we're this close to winning a cup.
Yeah, we're right there. I agree.
Right? So this is a big series for the trajectory of this franchise.
And let me ask you, that's what I was going to ask you then. I mean, what if they lose? I mean, obviously the sentiment of the fans are going to say same old thing, losing the first round,
That's
kind of stuff.
exactly what I would say.
I know you would.
I know
you would.
Yeah.
And it's the best team in franchise history. That's the thing about it. And that's
how good the league is.
All apologies to anyone else that has ever worn the Wild sweater, whether it be there's been great players, Gabrick, Ralston, Dimitra. Great players have come through Grand Casino Arena and XL Energy Center, but this is the best congregation of players at one time. And unfortunately, it guarantees them nothing because even if they do somehow get out of the first round, then you got to deal with the Colorado Avalanche, and it's not going to be easy. But this is their best chance to make a run, probably ever.
That's why I wanted Shesterkin at the deadline.
They weren't giving up Shesterkin.
We have our own in Volstead.
The Great Wall. The Great Vol.
The Great Vol.
I go back to last year's playoff series against Vegas. I thought last year, even though they lost in 6, felt different than the previous. Than the previous first round exits. To me, that looked like a team that they were on the brink of winning in a first round and getting a playoffs. And that's why it kind of gives me more confidence going into this year. Not only obviously the additions they've made and guys like Boldy playing a lot better than last year.
I think they're built to go longer just with the size that they have and the depth that they have, and they've got a good mix.
But it all boils down to one thing. The goaltending.
It does.
It depends on what that guy does, and I don't care who that guy is. If it's Volstead to start, if it's Gustafsson at some point,
matter.
You have to have goaltending because I think they're that close, they're that evenly comparable. When you look at the Stars, you look at the Wild. There's not a lot separating them. That's the big question mark.
Yeah,
so
and if they play Colorado in the second round. I would say
goaltending against them.
But their goaltending is garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can get through their first wave, my God,
they've got issues.
Their goaltending is so bad right now.
Yeah, and they're both good goalies, and they both had great years, obviously.
Yeah,
but they're leaking.
Yeah,
they give up a lot of goals.
Ton of firepower, but they can't keep the puck out of their net.
I agree.
Can't keep.
What do you think?
Puck out of their net. I said this all along, early, when the Wild were playing best season, one of the best teams ever. Yeah. I think points wise, third best in franchise history. And with the, talking about we have now Boldy, Minnesota, and Kaprizov, some of the, three of the top players. And I'm just mentioning a few. There are other.
But that's top of the heap.
What the heck?
And 2 competent goaltenders. My whole thing was why do we have to? And I know the answer to this because in Minnesota, this is the way it always goes because we never get to the promised land, as some people call it. But it's like, well, why do we have to be afraid of Dallas? And why do we have to be afraid of the Lance? Why?
What do you think they're thinking?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, we should be looking at the opposite. They better be worried about what we do. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm trying to go in with some confidence like that instead of being always like, well, you know what's going to happen like it always does. You know?
And the players can't, if the players have any doubt about that, well, they shouldn't play, right? You have to go into these series with some swagger.
Well, that's why I felt it was important to go with Volstead. I think Volstead has more swagger as a goalie.
I'm with you.
And is more likely to inject confidence.
You watch him after those shootouts, there's no one. I mean, it's like he won Game 7.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, too. What they did at the trade deadline was not the most sexiest of moves. They didn't go and grab a top line center. They didn't grab a top 6 forward. You can make the argument for Bobby Brink, but I'm talking about the beef they added on the bottom 6, bringing the 2 Foligno brothers together with McCarron. Most likely that's your 4th line. And then having the NHL hits leader in Trenyon playing with that all-Russian line. Who knows what the lineup looks like after Game 1, but that's the way they're going into Game 1. I think that could be an interesting thing for the Stars to have to deal with as well. That beef they have on the bottom 6 is going to be tough to deal with.
Well, you've got to make it difficult for the other team to play, and if you
that's
get
what
the
those guys will do,
and those guys can play against the top line, because there's enough speed there. They're heavy. They can clog things up and make it really difficult. And I think I think Guerin pivoted. After he couldn't get that top 6 guy.
Bolstered his lineup.
Yeah.
With those big boys. Have you seen McCarron yet on ice, Dan?
No.
6'6".
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a huge human being, and he can play the game. Yeah. But and he can win faceoffs.
I know you mentioned beef, but it's more than just beef. It's, they've now slotted guys in the proper, Pat, you've talked about for years how important special teams are once you get in the playoffs, and we've seen it specifically against the Dallas Stars, right?
Yep.
You add Quinn Hughes, and all of a sudden your power play is one of the best in hockey. And now you get in a playoff series and you get in a power play, you think you're going to you think you can score now as opposed to having it deflate you in a playoff game. And on the opposite, Kevin mentions the beef, but those guys are also good penalty killers. I mean, Nick Foligno's a good penalty killer. McCarron's good.
Smart player.
And then you have guys who can win faceoff draws on both circles, right? If one gets kicked out, the other one can jump in. Matt Boldy's been unbelievable on the penalty kill this year and can score shorthanded goals for you. So I have more confidence in the power play and more confidence in the penalty kill than I've had in a long time watching a wild playoff series.
Yeah, and one thing also, because these games are so tight and they are all defensive and tough, it's really important for your D to join the rush and get in the play and add that 4th guy. And Minnesota has, Brodin can do it, Spurgeon can do it, Faber can do it, and the guy we got.
Quinn Hughes is a 4th forward.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it right? And so I think that's going to be really critical. Now, as we talked about on Wild Weekly, they're going to try to come out and pound those guys because they're not the biggest guys. And so, and that's where you got to be a little bit careful and, play fast and all that stuff. But there's no question Dallas is going to come in and try to pound them.
Earlier we were talking about the difference between the goaltenders because Gus has more experience, right?
Yeah.
And so we tend to think that experience is important, particularly when you come to playoff time. The Wild acquired Tarasenko before this season, right? Mm-hmm. He's played Stanley Cups. He's won 2. He's won 2. Yeah. He's played playoffs. And I don't know how you guys felt about the acquisition. I'm a hockey novice, but I thought, hey, maybe the guy can return to the thrilling days of yesteryear. Maybe not. He's certainly, you would think he's past his prime. How important has he been? And do you think is that overrated, the experience in the postseason, the playoffs, that the guys lean on him? I mean, how do you think important he is to the club?
Well, first of all, when they first acquired him, and they got him for nothing.
Playing on the 4th line in Detroit,
they're
scored 11
taking his
goals.
salary. Yeah, that's all they did.
Yeah, it was. They took his salary, and I did not think that was a good move. And he surprised me. What do you have?
23. 23 goals.
Yeah. And so, if you can get anything out of that third line.
And I thought I read he did that in averaging 14 minutes a game, which makes it even more impressive.
No, he does play
a little power play time.
Yeah, a little bit.
When they had injuries, he'd play in the PP1.
But if they can get anything out of that third line, and They should.
That all-Russian line. And because you got him towards the end of his career, you've got Yurov at the beginning of his career. That's one of the nice young blue-chip pieces they've got in their lineup right now. And, yeah, he struggled a little bit on the face-off top, but, boy, he just continues to get better and better as the season goes along. So,
really
again,
good.
that all-Russian line complements each other with Trenyan, Yurov, and Tarasenko. They're fun to watch.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I think Tarasenko will have moments in this series where he's invisible.
Yes.
Right?
Probably.
Yes. Right? Like, he's not the fastest skater, and I'm assuming the speed's going to pick up here. He's not going to be able to play. He's not going to be playing a physical game. But there's going to be a moment where all of a sudden that puck's on his stick on a 2-on-1, and you're going to have full confidence that he can shoot it as well as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart player, right? I mean, he knows where to get the spots.
Yeah. I
mean, if he scored so many goals in his career, obviously there's a reason why.
Yep.
And so, that's where I'm saying, man, with Yurov and his skill down low, and Trenyan Trenyan's been a different player this year, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He's been
from the beginning.
Player. Yeah. And so, again, if that line can just chip in a little bit, it's really going to help them.
Plenty to be excited about, Common.
I'm starting to get pumped up.
Are you?
Really about the comedy show more than
I know.
That's tomorrow night also. It's another big event. You have
Are you all set for that, or do you have work to do?
How many people
How much
here?
time do you put into it?
Thank you very much. How many people here have listened to KFAN radio before? And then they go like that. And then I go, how many people wish they'd never listened to KFAN radio before? Then I'm like, wow. It starts getting really good. Yeah.
I can't miss it.
Yeah, you can't miss this. You'll laugh so hard. Thank you.
I'm on the floor right now.
Applause will be telling.
Oh, man.
Let's I used to, Wild, their saying used to be fight till the end.
Yeah.
And they do till about the end of the second period. Hey-oh!
That's not the attitude we need.
The Wolves have, united we run everywhere. United we run. What does that mean? Well, I found out I went to a game and united we ran for the egg because that's halfway through the first quarter.
What do you think of that? What do you think of our Wolves? Can they make a run this year or not?
I think the Wild will win their series. I picked the Wolves to lose just because they haven't shown a lot of respect for the game. They haven't. They've treated the regular season as it's
kind of like
they had to do it. We got to play.
Like Gustafson at the end.
It's a necessary evil. We have to get through because we got to qualify for because we'll play well enough.
This
to get
game
in
doesn't count,
but they're still they're good when it's clicking. Quick text message came in here. It says, I hope Falness has a comfortable couch. Because if word gets back to his wife that he called her stubborn and bought flowers for Lil B, he's going to be spending a lot of time on that couch.
Well, here's the good thing. 0 chance she's listening, so I should be all right. Nobody rat me out. We'll be fine.
Yeah. Is there 0 chance you listen because it's the Common Man program? Why is that? Mornings until noon and then back at 3
Because
o'clock?
you or because of Common?
She's more of a Dave Ryan guy. A gal.
Well, who isn't? Right? He's a Marconi winner.
Oh, it's time to go. That's too bad.
Well, guys, thanks for helping me.
Sorry for
good luck in the doghouse tonight, Kevin.
Thank you.
This was like my penalty kill. I had nothing for the last 2 segments, but I didn't need to say that because you guys know. Thanks so much.
Did we?
You guys are 10 to noon tomorrow?
Beyond the Pond, 10 to noon tomorrow. Mike Madonnell at 11, and then pregame at 4:15. Wild Fan Line with myself and Micheletti after the dust settles in Game 1.
And or the ice shaving settle.
Whatever you want to go with.
Let's do that. Guys, thanks for coming in and playing Program Password, too. Appreciate that. 10 to be, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. Back tomorrow, Monday at 12 noon. Stick around. Brett Blakemore in for JG, along with Big Ticket. They're next here on The Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.